We spoke about Judaism and Zionism as a movement who founded Israel. Honestly, many Jewish people most of them doesn't consider Zionism as a movement that has harmed anyone. And when you say Zionism in front of Palestinian, this is the first thing that they want to hear. Palestinian doesn't want to hear this word of Zionism. Because in one hand, for Israeli people, it's a movement of the establishment of Israel, is a movement of founding a home for Jewish people, is a movement that guarantees safety for Jewish people. But on the other hand, it's the movement who turn us to become refugees and lose our homes.
I was going to ask you about refugees. You mentioned it before. So it sounds like you're saying not only the refugees from 1948, but subsequently. Is that accurate?
What do you mean?
So when I hear the term Palestinian refugees, I tend to think of the Nakba, right, in 1948, and people, forced to leave, etc. But it sounds like you're using refugee in a slightly different meaning.
No, it's people who have been forced or threatened to leave their homes in 1948, and my father was one of them. Sorry, we have to stop.
And your dad?
Yeah, my father left his home. All of my family in Kibeba, which is the name of my father village, become refugees until today. I have brothers and sisters who live in Amman since the 60s. And when I buried my father and mother, my brothers and sisters were not able to come and bury their parents. Beyond politics, there is also deep values of emotion. So they are not allowed to go back, but they are not allowed to visit also. Just imagine, you live here and your father lives somewhere else, and you are not able to see him or your mother or to see her. You will not become a Mandela. These people, sometimes it amazed me when Jewish people ask, why you educate your people to hate? Why you educate your kids to hate? If you live in such conditions, you don't need a curriculum for hatred. It does make the job for you. Definitely. This is where violence comes from. So going back to my point, so we said Judaism and Zionism, then the Israeli political identity. And the three things complete the Jewish identity in this land. And for me, speaking to settlers is like speaking to this complete identity of the Jewish people. Because it's not about talking to leftists in Tel Aviv who become secular or religious, doesn't matter. It's not about talking to right wings without considering the price of it. Because listen, the usual thing is not to speak to settlers. That's the usual. And we don't speak to settlers, and settlements are growing. We don't speak to settlers, and settlers has become around 60,000 people today. We don't speak to settlers, and we build settlers' houses by our hand because we need to survive. Financially. Yes. How come speaking to settlers is illegal by politics, by the anti-normalization movement, and building settlers' houses in our land is something, it's not legal, but it's okay, we can survive that. I will never work in a settlement. Never. And I still consider settlement as illegal political act that has values of religion, Zionism, and the Israeli value of identity, the political value of identity. On the other hand, I know very well that the two-state solution as it is today, it's not going to work. I believe in two-state solution 100%. But the way that we promote it, the way that we introduce the solution to refugees and settlers, both communities will refuse it. Refugees want right of return, and settlers want to grow more. On the other hand, I know that everyone is not happy here. We have to take courageous steps to find other ways to reach the solution. Means that the none expected our mind has to be considered. And what I mean by that, I have never expected that I would speak to settlers. Never. If you would have told me this 10 years ago, I would tell, even though I am a peacemaker, even though I would tell you lost your mind. And I remember even an argument with Rabbi Menachem Fruman, that all Roots people are, most of them are his students, and he's the one who, he was the first crazy one to do crazy steps toward peace. Okay? I remember myself arguing with him publicly in a meeting with Hadassah, his wife, telling him, even if you are a saint, if you are an angel, as a human being, just living in Tekoa for me is a reason for me not to talk to you. So don't do propaganda for Israel. You are doing propaganda. It's not about your humanity. It's about your living there in my land. So I don't want you to become nice to me while you are taking my land. This is not...
So your words and your heart might be in the right place, but your actions are not.
Yeah. So because this is... It's challenging and it's not easy. I mean, you stand and there is so much fear within Palestinian, even Roots member, to lose their honor in their own community, especially Palestinian members.
Both communities, especially.
Mostly Palestinian. Mostly Palestinian. Hanan Schlesinger can put his name in what he writes. Many Palestinians will refuse to put their name on what they say.
Why is that? Is it fear of is it an anti-normalization, kind of pressure from government? Where is it coming from?
It's fear from losing the respect of the community, because talking to settlers is like an honor, a dishonor thing. They're sitting in your land, they're putting all of these checkpoints, they take your water, they implement the Zionist dream of having all the land to become Israel, and you still speak to them. On the other hand, I am aware, I'm sorry, I have to take that.
Sorry.
أنا في المخ. يا زلمة. From the future. I'll explain that. For many Palestinians, speaking to settlers will not serve their the change on the ground. Means if we keep talking to each other in 20, 30 years, and let's consider that there is no violence, so what will happen? You will find in 20 years there is no place left to establish a Palestinian state. So Palestinians will feel like the settlers were using them just to become good kids. Be a nice one, criticize violence, and stand in the front and against part of your people who believe in violence, and there is no guarantee for anything. This is another fear that members are not talking about that. Third, when